Greetings. I'm Emily Brett Howard, Director of Programs at St. Andrews, and I'm filling in for Pastor Eric Smith while he's on vacation. This is Wakening Grace. Today we welcome Reverend Steve Petty, retired former pastor of St. Andrews.
Linda and I have enjoyed watching The Crown on Netflix. We all marvel at Queen Elizabeth. She is the epitome of calm and confidence. But one story about Elizabeth that was not mentioned in the series is about the 13-year-old girl who was helping her father, King George VI. In September of 1939, following Germany's invasion of Poland, Britain entered the war in Europe. By Christmas, there had already been several naval battles resulting in sunken ships and casualties. Children were being sent to the countryside. Pets were being euthanized. Men and women were enlisting and beginning service. It was obvious to everyone that this was going to be a long, difficult, and painful period. The memory of World War I was still on their minds. Young Elizabeth found the poetry of Minnie Haskins to be helpful to her in those dark days. As her father, King George VI, began his preparations for his traditional Christmas Day radio broadcast message to the people of the Empire, Elizabeth shared one of her poems. The poem was called God Knows, and was from her book, The Desert, published in 1912. King George, seeking to comfort his people in a fearful time, talked about their devotion and sacrifice, but also, recognizing the start of a new year within the week, with a sense of foreboding, chose to use the poem's prelude at the close of his message. Here's the passage he read. I said to the man who stood at the gate of the year, give me a light, that I may tread safely into the unknown. And he replied, go out into the darkness, and put your hand into the hand of God. That shall be to you better than light, and safer than a known way. So I went forth, and finding the hand of God, trod gladly into the night. And he led me toward the hills, and the breaking of the day in the lone east. So, heart, be still. God knows. His will is best. The stretch of years which winds ahead, so dim to our imperfect vision, is clear to God. Our fears are premature. In him all time hath full provision. The poem depicts a man walking up to the gate of the year where he encounters a gatekeeper. As he peers into the future on the other side of the gate, he can see only darkness. So he asks the gatekeeper for a light that he might see clearly into the future. But the gatekeeper does not give him the comfort of a light. He gives him advice. Go into the darkness and put your hand into the hand of God. That shall be to you better than light, and safer than a known way. Friends, the days ahead bring the hope of vaccines, but also the sureness of more death and more uncertainty. It is impossible to see into this darkness. So do not rely on your eyes. Do not ask for a light. Put your hands in the hand of God. Put your life in the arms of God. Then you can move forward with sureness, with hope and faith and love. Have a faithful new year. And maybe a year from now, we can look back and decide it was happy.